It was a year ago when I reviewed the Transformers Yolopark AMK Rise of the Beast Scourge figure, and it was my favorite of the AMK Rise of the Beast figures. I absolutely still love it to this day. So when I found out that Scourge was getting an AMK Pro treatment, I got pretty excited. And I got even more excited when Yolopark said, hey, do you want a review sample? And I said, yes, of course, I want a review sample very, very badly. So with special thanks to Yolopark and no hesitation, here is the AMK Pro Scourge from Rise of the Beasts. I can already tell he is going to be so nicely painted. He's going to have lights. He's going to have die cast. He's going to be incredible. The box, as always, from Yolopark is incredible. A lot of nice detailing, a lot of nice little, like, that's Unicron's eye right there. That's super cool. And you can see on the back, the part breakdown seems to be about the same from the standard AMK, so I'm not going to be taking time to, like, build this on camera, but I will go ahead and do an unboxing for you so you can see all the parts laid out. If you're curious about how to build a Yolopark AMK figure, you can see the several videos I've already done covering Yolopark products. I have built many of them on camera. It's a pretty easy build process. You basically just open it up, and then you have all the trays, and then you put the pieces together. Taking the slip cover off, you can see this line art looks incredible. I love Scourge so much. He's so cool. Yeah, this box is nice. And I love the symbol. Oh my gosh. Oh, dude, this is sick. Alright, I don't want to wait anymore. Let's get this open. Alright, so opening it from the bottom, so we can just go ahead and drop all the trays down. I can see this guy has a lot of heft and a lot of stuff coming out. Actually, seeing that extra stuff reminded me, I got this when I got my review sample. It's just this very nice card. It's very heavy. It says Yolopark on it. I left it in the bag. It doesn't seem like it opens in any way. It has like a glittery border. It's just this nice card of Scourge from Rise of the Beasts. Yeah, very, very neat. And also, I got this. It's not white paper. It's this. You can take a picture of your Yolopark figures, use the necessary hashtags, and get a $10 coupon. And on top of that, you can also use my discount code and my referral link down below. You can use code JCC to save some money on standard AMK products. Does not work for AMK Pro, but it works for like standard AMKs for Rise of the Beast and Transformers 1. But yeah, there's a little QR code. There's how to do it. Yeah, very cool that Yolopark is engaging with fans in that way and rewarding you if you do. Alright, intermission out of the way. Looks like our first tray here is going to have a lot of the armor pieces for Scourge. Looking very, very cool. Oh, he actually has a normal left hand this time around. That's actually very appreciated. Dude, it seems like he is painted to the teeth. Oh my gosh. And then this next tray seems like it's going to be the main endoskeleton. Yeah, that's looking incredible. Dude, look at that head. Oh my gosh. I love this figure, and I cannot wait to have it in an even more premium style than I already have it in. Dude, I definitely think that making Scourge into a Yolopark AMK Pro was a great idea. Like, I love the original, but I think with all the extra detail, it's going to be vastly improved. We can see his sword looks a lot more detailed, a lot nicer. He still has the nice claw hand and everything. You can see there's a lot of parts going on here. Definitely a lot of parts. And again, if you're curious about how to build an AMK Pro, you can just watch my other AMK videos. I've built several of these on camera. But since this figure is a rehash of a figure we've gotten previously, I didn't feel it necessary to build them all over again. Yeah, you can see the base is the same that we've seen since Mirage and last night Optimus Prime. Looks like he has another, is that his gun hand, I think? And then his emblem this time around is not an Autobot logo, it's actually a Terracon logo, which is very cool. Yeah, and I saw another thing that fell out. Where is it? Where is it? I saw it. I saw something. Where'd it go? There it is. A lot of these come with pins. It looks like Scourge's pin is very, very cool. Yeah, that's nice. That's very nice. I don't think I like it as much as the Optimus one, but that is very cool. Definitely appreciate me a nice little pin, I guess. All right, with all the pieces out, all of the trays out, let me go ahead and get this guy built up, and we'll see what AMK Pro Scourge has to offer us. Before I bring out the AMK Pro, just let me say, I love this original AMK Scourge. I thought it was a super fun action figure, and I thought it had a lot of great detail. But obviously, it being at the price point it was, it doesn't have a lot of paint. You can see a lot of it's just, flat gray plastic. But despite all that, I thought it was really excellently detailed, and I wasn't sure what they could do to really amp this thing up. And then I built the AMK Pro, and then they showed me what they could do. Oh my God. Look at this thing. It is covered in paint. It is absolutely lathered in paint detail. It's insane. From dry brushing to gunmetals to black speckling to rust. It is crazy how much paint is on this. Like, dude, just look at this from head to toe. It is lathered in paint. Look at the smokestacks. Look at the difference you can see there in the spine. Like, even on his butt, he's got, like, silver flaking. He has, like, this, brown highlighting on certain parts. That subtle little tube, like, on the back of his thigh they painted. It is insane, the amount of upgrading they did to this. This is seriously a professional paint job. Like, this looks and feels like a customizer's, professional work. Like, if a super professional painter got their hands on this figure, this is what it would look like. Oh my gosh. And on top of that, they added die-cast parts. The mask is die-cast now. Various armor panels all throughout are die-cast now. And they made the build a lot more intricate than the original. The original, they had a lot of the panels already attached. But on this guy, you gotta attach everything, man. And it is very, very nice. Very impressive. Very intricate. And I'm thoroughly impressed. They did actually do quite a bit of re-sculpting to him as well, like remolding and everything. He's got a few new parts. Obviously, they needed to reintegrate him so he could have the LED functions. But oh my God. Like, here, let's get a little bit close, and I just want to compare a few select areas just to show you the difference of the paint application. I think one of the most prominent points where you can tell the difference in the paint application are in his shoulders. Look at that shoulder pad. Look at all of the subtle, coloration, the scratching, the rust, the silvers, the gunmetals. It is insane. And all the way down the rest of the arm, you can see he's just covered. His hand is painted. Oh my gosh. Of course, the head sculpt got an upgrade as well. You can see covered in paint, that, reddish brown in the cracks and crevices. Dude. Oh, and the smokestacks. I love that. The original smokestacks looked cool and everything. They were painted silver. But look at that. Oh my gosh. They did actually do a few new parts on this guy. I do want to point those out while we are so close. So everything you're kind of seeing right now is original. He does have a new left hand, so he can actually have a normal left hand, because I do believe very briefly in the movie he does have a normal left hand, and has the same amount of articulation as the standard right hand, which is very appreciated. But one extra thing they added is kind of reminiscent to all the upgrade kits for the Studio Series one. He has extra leg armor. The original one kind of had some skinny legs. You can see his legs are a little skinny, but they actually added some extra beef to his armor panels on the legs. And I actually really appreciate that. As I was building him, I was comparing it to the standard AMK to see what panels went where. And then I realized, these are new panels. Where do they go? And I actually had to consult the instructions for that. But yeah, just while we're in close, get all this detail sunken in, man. It is crazy. All the paint. He is covered. He is absolutely covered. And the funny thing is you can smell it too. You can smell all the paint because he is just that lathered. And I am so impressed with how this looks from head to toe. I am lost for words. He does have the light up eyes while we are close. Go ahead and show that off. He does use slightly different batteries, probably given how they had to retool it from the standard one. This time around, you're going to want two LR621s. Thankfully, I had those on hand, so I was able to show you how the lights work. But as you can see, this is the standard on configuration, and then he has the flicker configuration, and of course, he has the fading in and out configuration, which I think for Scourge being as fiery as he is, that works very, very well. I do wish he had lights in the chest, something like that, because he did have that really nice light in the chest, especially when he was coming out of the forest to confront Ape Link. That was a really cool detail that I wish this figure could have replicated, but I think considering the limitations of retooling an already existing figure, I'm just happy they got the lights in the eyes. But they did get the lights also in one of the weapons, so while we're talking about weapons, we should probably arm him up. So he does have his nice blade, his arm blade, and this time around you can see they added this really nice gradient where it looks heated. That looks nice. This just slots into the arm just like on the original, and that will stay on his arm for the rest of his life because I think Scourge looks super cool with that. And then for his normal hand, it is always very appreciated that this is included with this version, but removing it, we can go ahead and give him his claw hand, his spinny, like, Energon extractor, whatever, claw. Yeah, and this time around they did paint it nicer than on the original, and it does still have a nice spin ability, which for Scourge is always a treat. Very, very cool. But on this guy, I actually think I'm going to use his cannon arm, because his cannon arm actually got a little LED treatment, and I don't really display any of my Scourges with the cannon arm, so I think it'd be kind of fitting that this guy had it. For his cannon arm, uses the same batteries, uses 2 of them. Go ahead and tap the front, and you can see it glows a very, very nice color, very nice yellowy orange. And then it also does the flicker, and it does the pulse, just like on the eyes. That is very nice. And for Scourge, that is just so sick looking. Oh my god. He's gonna get you. He's gonna get you bad, dude. You better look out. Oh man, this figure is sick. He does, of course, have one more accessory up here by his face. You can go ahead and remove the mask, and we can actually see his gnarled face underneath. But if that peg really bothers you, you do have an interchangeable faceplate where you can just have him without the mask. Switches out just like the original, and of course, we can give him the light-up eyes here, too. And that looks really cool. I do enjoy Scourge with the gnarled-up face. I guess for the gnarled-up face, it would kind of make more sense if it was flashing, because he is very weak at this point. But for me, I think that mask is just so iconic. It gives him Tarn vibes. I likely will not display him like this. I might display my old AMK, though, without the faceplate, just to kind of differentiate them a little bit. And there's one more accessory I have to talk about, because, guys, they listened. It's always awesome when a company actually listens to your criticism. So in my AMK Mirage review, I pointed out how I didn't like how the display base connected to the figure. I thought the connection was really weak. Just cradling a die-cast figure with electronics on like a weird crotch cradle was not a good idea. And they did the same thing for the TLK Optimus Prime. I didn't really point it out too much in that video because it has already been talked about, but I'm still not a big fan of that. But this time around, they changed it. It's a plug. Oh my gosh. I do want to give a huge shout out to Yolopark, because in my review of Mirage, they commented and said they would take my criticism of the display base to heart. And they did! They changed it! It's so awesome! So on Scourge, he just has a little piece down here we can go ahead and remove. And once we remove that, we just pluck him on. Got to make sure a flat part is in the front, so it will properly align. You can swivel it around too, don't worry. And check it out. Scourge is flying high on his display base, and he is sturdy, he is durable, he is solid, and it looks incredible. Yeah, Yolopark, you did it. You fixed my biggest issue with the AMK Pro line. You made the display base usable. You made it fun. You made it durable. You did it. Thank you so much. I have never been the biggest fan of the AMK Pro bases, but now I am. And I hope moving forward, every single figure just has a plug. It's okay if it's in between the legs. My personal preference is if it's like in the small of their back. I think that's the best place for a display base plug, but I don't care. This looks great. This works great. I am very happy with it. Now, I do kind of wish he could be attached to the base and, you know, have his feet attached to the base. That's why I typically prefer the plug on their back, because it makes them more accessible. But given how these figures already stand perfectly fine on their own, I don't really think that's a big complaint. It's just a little thing I wanted to mention. The articulation on Yolopark AMK Pro Scourge is just as fantastic as it was on the standard AMK, and I only have like one very minor complaint, and it's not even that big of a deal. So his head is on a ball joint, and it moves very, very nicely. His neck is also on a ball joint, so you get a lot of expressiveness. You can have him go savory. Yeah, it's awesome. It's great. You can move the jaw, just like on the original AMK. You just kind of got to move it. It might be easier if I remove the mask. But yeah, the jaw, you just push it down. And I pushed it way too far, and now it looks ugly. But you can see you can actually open and close his jaw just a little bit. But I do think it helps if you want him looking like he's screaming, "Ah, I'm Scourge." You can't really fully close the mouth, but I think that's okay. His shoulders, he has like these panels that move out of the way. And then his shoulders are on these massive ball joints right here. His shoulder pads are on ball joints as well. And then he has a hinge upwards, so you can get him in a nice full T-pose. He does have a bicep swivel. He has a double jointed at the elbow that works very, very great. This hand, the base of it is on a swivel. And then obviously these little fingers move, so you know you can see how that works. You saw how the fingers moved on the spinny hand a little earlier. There's a couple joints in each finger. And for the standard hands, on both of them, you have individual joints at the base of the knuckle. At pretty much every point, there is a hinge. So they fully articulated Scourge's fingers, and I think that is very, very nice and very appreciated. At the torso, he kind of has like a ball joint. I think it's like a hinge swivel system. So you get a lot of nice crunch back, but not really too much forward. But you do get some tilt side to side. His waist can rotate, and I can tell you the joints are a lot more durable on the AMK Pro than they are in the standard AMK. Because I feel like they added some metal. They, I think, oiled some of the joints, just like they did with Optimus. You can see his legs move very nice and far forward. They actually move decent far out, but not the greatest. I do think there's a drop down, though. Yeah, there's a drop down, so you can actually move them out all the way. Never mind. And with that drop down, you can move the legs all the way forward, which is very impressive. You do have a thigh swivel as well. And this is my only issue with the articulation, and it's not even that big of a deal. He has double joints at the knees, right? That's all the range you get just by moving it. Because he has this panel that covers the knee, and you have to move that out of the way to get the full range. You can see there's even a little piston right there. See the little piston in the front that's moving? That's really cool. So yeah, you do that to get the full knee range. This little panel on the ankle will move, but the ankle will move down, actually pretty far. It'll move up a little bit. You do have a toe joint, which I actually kind of missed in my Optimus review, so my bad. And you can ankle tilt it, and you can swivel the foot as well. So the articulation is, yeah, you probably guessed it, absolutely freaking incredible. Alright, so for comparisons, I typically like the subject being on the left. Here it is one more time with the standard AMK Scourge. I think I've gone in pretty intense detail on the differences here. Definitely still love that original AMK, but dude, this AMK Pro Scourge is like one of the coolest freaking things ever. I can't get over it. It is insanely awesome. Bringing in the other AMK Pro Rise of the Beast figure, here he is with Mirage, and you can see that scale works really, really well. Scourge is just as massive and intimidating as he is supposed to be. Both of these look great together. Special thanks to Yolopark for sending them both over. I really love the Mirage. I think it's great. But dude, they took my favorite AMK and they turned into one of my favorite AMK Pros. I don't know if it's my absolute favorite because he's got some really tough competition, but I am a big fan of this AMK Pro Scourge. I'm not going to compare him to every single AMK from Rise of the Beast, but I do want to compare him to Optimus Prime, since Optimus is also going to get an AMK Pro treatment in the near future. This is just the standard AMK. Still looks great with the standard AMKs. Obviously, the paint is on a completely different level. These are just super fun action figures. These are basically works of art at this point. Yeah, man, I am loving how that looks. Comparing him with his initial nemesis of Rise of the Beast, here he is with the AMK Pro Max, I believe, Ape Link. The only Ape Link in my collection. I didn't even bother getting the Studio Series one. I didn't think it looked any good. Yeah, I definitely love how both of these look together. But I do have to say, the Scourge, the paint job and everything, is a much higher quality than on the Ape Link. The Ape Link is great, don't get me wrong. But I felt like the Ape Link had some issues, like with the assembly, since it was a lot of soft plastic panels. Like, all these panels are kind of a softer plastic. And everything being harder on Scourge makes it a lot better when it comes to assembly, and a lot higher quality when it comes to the crispness of the detail. Love both of these. Definitely love Scourge a lot more. Comparing him with another evil truck in the AMK Pro line, here he is with the G1 Nemesis Prime. And you can see, yeah, Scourge is huge, as he should be, as he is. Scourge is a big boy, certified big boy. Yeah, these look really nice together, and it really shows the difference between the quality of AMK Pro, like the diversity of it. Because this is like a super nice glossy paint job. He's still covered in paint, don't get me wrong. There's like a lot of gloss and then some subtle weathering here and there, and this guy is just, it dialed the paint job to 11. I think when it comes to like figures under $100, this is the most nicely painted figure in my collection, by far. When it comes to under $100 retail price, this Scourge is by far the most nicely painted figure I have. And finally, to compare him to some transforming figures, here it is with 86 Optimus Prime. So you can see, yeah, he's still huge. He's still large and in charge. Definitely an old school leader class size, in my opinion. This guy is huge. He is chonk. And with all the die-cast, all the LEDs, yeah, he feels it this time. And last, and let's be honest, probably least, here it is with the Studio Series Scourge. This one is the Bayway knockoff, which has a better head sculpt, and it doesn't really have better paint, but it just generally looks better. Yeah, I'm happy to have a couple versions of a Scourge that can transform in my collection, because I still have the original Studio Series. But, dude, when it comes to, like, my go-to Scourge, I don't think anything's going to top AMK Pro. I don't think anything could ever top AMK Pro. I even want to challenge 3-0 to make a better Scourge than this. I don't think they can. And for fun, one last comparison. Here it is with the Blockies classic Scourge. Very cute, very fun. I love Blockies. Definitely a different kind of figure than Yolopark. Still very fun, though. So there we go, guys. There's my look at the Transformers Yolopark Rise of the Beast AMK Pro Scourge. This figure is just as awesome as it was a year ago, plus like 1,000. The LEDs, the die-cast, the insane amount of paint, the added detail, the extra hand. Oh my gosh, this thing is remarkable. This is truly the definitive Scourge figure you could get. Of course, it doesn't transform. That's going to bother some people. Doesn't bother me. I think, you know, there are transforming options, and get a transforming option if that's what you really want. But hey, if you just want the coolest looking Scourge on the market, Yolopark has you covered. I am being dead serious there. Alrighty, guys, that's pretty much all I gotta say. Special thanks once again to Yolopark for sending this over for review. Please use my referral link down below, as well as my code. And hey, if you want to post your Yolopark figures on social media, like I said earlier, you do have that coupon option. I would also like to thank channel members, as always. Thank you all so much for the continued support. Have a great one, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.